How the ant would invest in 2026, the exact opposite of the grasshopper. In 2026, two people will invest in the same market with the same information. By the end of this year, one of them will feel calmer, wealthier, and confident. The other will feel stressed.
Not again. December of 2026 and no money.
Confused, and forced to start over again. The difference won't be intelligence, it will be behavior. The grasshopper in 2026. This year, the grasshopper will look like this. Scrolling headlines every morning, jumping from crypto to stocks to the next AI hype, buying what will feel exciting, selling what will feel scary, always feeling late, behind, and unsure. The grasshopper will stay busy, but never certain. The ant in 2026. This year, the ant will move differently. Calm, quiet, almost boring to watch, investing the same way month after month, sleeping well at night. The ant will look boring, but will feel confident. Part 1. Most people starting this year will face the same struggle. They won't know what to invest in. They won't fully trust themselves emotionally. They will buy when excitement takes over. They will sell when fear shows up. The problem won't be lack of information, it will be lack of discipline. Name the solution? The ant system. The ant will not rely on predictions, she will rely on a system. Same markets, same opportunities, same headlines, but completely different behavior. So let's look at why the ant will survive 2026 and why the grasshopper won't. Part 2. The science behind the ant versus the grasshopper. In 2026, the biggest enemy of investors will not be a market crash. It will not be inflation headlines. It will not even be bad investments. It will be their own brain. This year, information will move faster than ever. Markets will react instantly to news, forecasts, tweets, and predictions, and most people will believe that staying informed will make them safer, but the research says the opposite. The human brain did not evolve to manage long-term investing. It evolved to survive short-term threats. That's why in 2026, the grasshopper will feel compelled to act. When markets rise, dopamine will spike. Excitement will feel like clarity. Buying will feel smart. When markets fall, cortisol will rise. Fear will feel urgent. Selling will feel like relief. The grasshopper will not be irrational. The grasshopper will be human. This is what behavioral finance has shown repeatedly. People do not lose money because they lack intelligence. They lose money because they overreact. They chase what already went up. They abandon what temporarily went down. They confuse activity with progress. In 2026, this problem will be amplified. Why? Because expectations are already high. AI investment, rate cuts, soft landings, recession risks, all of these stories will compete for attention. Some will come true, some won't. And the brain will try to respond to all of them. That's where the ant separates herself. The ant understands something simple but powerful. Markets reward time, not tension. Research from major institutions going into 2026 points to the same conclusion. Returns will likely be moderate, uneven, and noisy. Not catastrophic, not euphoric, just unpredictable enough to punish emotional investors. This is exactly the environment where the grasshopper struggles. Because the grasshopper needs certainty, needs excitement, needs to feel right. The ant doesn't. The ant accepts uncertainty as the cost of admission. Instead of trying to predict outcomes, she designs behavior that works across scenarios. If growth slows, if inflation sticks, if markets rise, if markets fall. The ant doesn't ask what will happen, she asks,
how will I behave no matter what happens?
This is why the ant survives years like 2026. She reduces decisions. She removes emotion from execution. She builds a system that doesn't depend on motivation, forecasts, or confidence. While the grasshopper reacts to headlines, the ant quietly benefits from consistency. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Both will experience the same volatility. Both will see the same news. But only one will be positioned to win because of how they respond. So the real question isn't whether 2026 will be a good or bad year. The real question is this. What exactly will the ant do day after day to make sure her behavior works in her favor? Because that's where the real advantage begins. Part 3. The ant's daily investing habits. So if the ant doesn't predict, and she doesn't react, what does she actually do? In 2026, the ant will not wake up asking, what should I buy today? That question belongs to the grasshopper. Instead, the ant will follow a small set of habits, simple enough to repeat, strong enough to survive chaos. First habit. The ant will invest on a schedule, not on feelings. She will choose when she invests long before emotions show up. Monthly, bi-weekly, automatically. When markets rise, she will invest. When markets fall, she will invest. When headlines scream, she will invest. Not because she is brave, but because the decision was already made. The grasshopper, on the other hand, will wait for clarity, and clarity will never come. Second habit. The ant will buy the market, not stories. In 2026, there will be no shortage of convincing narratives. This sector is the future. This technology changes everything. This time is different. The ant will ignore almost all of them. She will own broad exposure. She will let capitalism, not headlines, do the heavy lifting. The grasshopper will chase what sounds smart. The ant will stick to what statistically works. Third habit. The ant will think in decades, not weeks. She understands compounding is slow at first and unstoppable later. Small, boring contributions will quietly stack. Time, not talent, will do the work. The grasshopper will demand results, and when results don't arrive fast enough, he will quit. Fourth habit. The ant will protect capital before trying to grow it. Before risk comes survival. The ant will keep an emergency buffer. She will avoid leverage. She will refuse all-in bets, because she knows the only unforgivable mistake in investing is not being able to continue. The grasshopper will maximize upside. The ant will minimize ruin. Fifth habit. The ant will automate everything she can. Automation removes emotion. Emotion is where mistakes live. Money will move before fear or excitement can interfere. Less choice, less stress, better outcomes. The grasshopper will rely on willpower, and willpower always expires. Sixth habit. The ant will review but never react. She will check her plan on a schedule. She will rebalance calmly. She will adjust slowly. No panic selling, no impulsive buying. The grasshopper will react in real time. The ant will act in planned time. And here's the key insight most people miss. None of these habits are impressive on their own. They feel almost too simple, but together they form something powerful. A system that works without confidence. A system that survives boredom. A system that outlasts fear. Still, habits alone are not enough, because habits collapse when pressure gets high, unless they are built on something deeper. And that raises one final question. What foundation allows the ant to follow these habits when everyone else breaks? That answer is where the ant's real strength lives. Part 4. The Mega Reset. The Fundamentals. Habits explain how the ant invests, but fundamentals explain why she never abandons them. In 2026, pressure will arrive, markets will wobble, confidence will be tested, and this is where most people break. Because when fear rises, habits alone are not enough. What holds behavior together is identity. The ant does not see investing as a tactic. She sees it as a reflection of who she is. Or, as Warren Buffett has often implied throughout his letters and talks, the real edge in investing is not IQ, it's temperament. The ant understands this deeply. She does not ask,
What will make me rich this year?
she asks,
What kind of investor am I willing to be for the rest of my life?
that single question changes everything. The grasshopper defines himself by outcomes, wins and losses, up years and down years. The ant defines herself by rules. Rules she writes before emotion shows up. How much risk she will tolerate, how long she is willing to wait, what she will never do no matter what the market does. This echoes an idea often attributed to Benjamin Graham. The investor's worst enemy is likely to be himself. The ant takes that warning seriously. She designs her financial life assuming she will feel fear, assuming she will feel doubt, assuming she will feel tempted. And instead of fighting those feelings, she builds guardrails around them. The grasshopper believes discipline will appear when needed. The ant knows discipline must be engineered in advance. Or, as James Clear would put it in modern terms, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. The ant doesn't rely on motivation, she relies on structure. That is the mega reset. Not a new prediction, not a better strategy, but a shift from reacting to deciding once and executing forever. By doing this, the ant makes herself boring to the market and invisible to chaos. And this is why when 2026 ends, the ant will not be shocked by her results. She will simply recognize them as the natural outcome of behavior repeated quietly over time. But there is one final piece. Because even with a system, even with discipline, Even with a strong foundation, most people still hesitate at the beginning. So the last question is not how the ant invests, it's this: how do you actually start today without waiting for confidence, clarity, or the perfect moment? That's where the ant's journey truly begins. Conclusion: starting will not feel comfortable. In fact, in 2026, starting will feel harder than ever. There will be too many opinions, too many forecasts, too many voices telling you to wait, optimize, or learn just a bit more. The grasshopper will listen to all of them, and that's exactly why he will stay stuck. The ant understands something most people miss. Confidence does not come before action, it comes after repetition. The ant doesn't wait to feel ready. She starts small. She starts imperfectly, but she starts now. Or, as the ancient Stoic Seneca warned centuries ago, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. The ant prepares every month, quietly, relentlessly. So when opportunity appears, she is already in position. By the end of 2026, the difference will be obvious. Not because the ant predicted the future, but because she refused to fight her own nature. She didn't try to be brilliant, she chose to be consistent. She didn't try to win fast, she chose to survive long. And that is the real secret. The ant never asks,
What's the best investment this year?
She asks,
What behavior can I repeat for decades?
that is how wealth is actually built. So the real choice, starting today, January 5th, 2026, is simple. You will invest this year. Everyone will. The only question is how. Will you react like the grasshopper, chasing, fearing, restarting? Or will you commit to thinking like the ant, calm, disciplined, and quietly compounding? Because once you see this difference, you can't unsee it. And from this moment on, every financial decision will reveal which one you are becoming. Remember, the ant climb is not about getting rich fast. It is about climbing steadily, together. It is an anthill built by people who want to finish 2026 proud of their financial decisions, want to learn how to manage money with calm and discipline, want systems instead of stress, and want to stop living like grasshoppers. So if you want to be part of this anthill, if you want to think long-term while the world thinks short-term, if you want to end 2026 more confident, more educated, and more satisfied with your investments, then follow the ant climb. Join the colony, build patiently, and let time, not impulse, work in your favor.